Whoa, hey everybody, welcome to a Chick-fil-A good morning episode of the Outlet Podcast Vlogs. What I like to do here on YouTube is do a number of vlog entries in various different playlists on my channel. So you can check out Comic Curator, Solely and Holy, How I Met Her, Guys Only. All of these things you can check out here on the Outlet Podcast because they're different videos that I like to do because I guess I'm a very multifaceted individual. Today, I want to talk about how marriage is not dead, we're killing it. And it all started because I saw on my Facebook feed, one of my favorite drummers, Aaron Gillespie. Well, I saw him, and he was on a podcast of another band that I love called Emery. They were on a podcast, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be great. My two favorite bands when I was growing up, Under Oath and Emery together. This is gonna be awesome. And well, it kind of was awesome because I got to hear from them all, but I was sad. Well, because it started off about divorce. I was like, okay, well, what happened? So that blew my mind. The fact that Aaron Gillespie has been divorced with his wife. And it was shocking because, well, I follow them on social media, and I never caught that. Maybe I missed a post or something, but I never caught that Aaron Gillespie was divorced from his wife, and I was like, man, really? Because that makes me sad. Divorce, it's not wrong for you to feel bad for someone who's been divorced. We're living in a weird time where people like to be very condescending and snarky. They love to be like, why are you sad for me? Why are you crying for me? I'm happy. I got rid of that chick a long time ago. And it's like, really? Like, you're divorced. You said before God, apparently you don't really care that much about God because, or the pact that you made before him, because you're just so haphazard, and you're trying to act like you don't care. You're acting like all the time you spent, it didn't matter to you. I bet you it did. People love to bag on marriage, and they love to say phrases like, marriage is dead, the institution of marriage is stupid. Well, it's not dead, you're killing it. And it's not stupid, it's the institution that is teaching you. The teacher in the institution is teaching you. You're just a dumb student. You are a dumb student. You don't want to learn. You don't want to accept realities that involve marriage. Marriage is not a joke. It's not a game. You see it. The problem is that we see it on sitcoms. We see it on TV. We see it on movies. You see Die Hard. You see Die Hard where John McClane is just trying to be back with his wife and stuff, and that's like, all right, it's very honorable, huh? It's very honorable. You know what's more honorable? You just got into a fight with your wife, and you listen to God, who is unbiased, who knows all, and you listen to God tell you why you're wrong. Because just because you're right doesn't mean other factors you've done were right. You can be right and be a total jerk about the fact that you were right. So now you're wrong because of the way you treated the person. See? So that's why marriages need God. And that's my personal opinion. And you can say, Christian marriages are failing too. Yeah, you know why Christian marriages are failing? Christian marriages are failing because people are in love with the idea of love, and when they fall in love, they think that love will hold the marriage together, and love won't hold the marriage together. It takes compromise, it takes communication, it takes sacrifice. I was just thinking about it, and I did a very macabre post on my personal Twitter, but you guys can find me on @Outlet Podcast. On my personal Twitter page, I put something along the lines of, women sacrifice their bodies to give life, and men have to sacrifice their bodies and not kill themselves. And that's very dark. I was like going through some harsh stuff recently, and not divorce, but I was really sad, and I just came to this realization: women like sacrifice their bodies, like when when they have a baby, like they're hosting another human being inside of them. Well, men don't have the ability to host another human being inside of them. We have to, while women sacrifice their bodies for 9 months, men have to sacrifice their lives from then on. The struggle of manhood is not, in what I learned in a marriage, the struggle of man in a marriage is not it's not like depression or any. The struggle that men go through is giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and not breaking. It's bending so much and not breaking. Now, I'm not talking about your career. Maybe you have to stay in that dead-end job because it's giving you money to provide for your family. Well, that's honorable. That's what men do. Like, I learned about being a man because I saw Jesus. And although Jesus was never a husband to a terrestrial wife, Jesus is the husband of the church. And he gave his life for the church. And just like the Bible says, that men need to honor their wives the way Christ... men need to love their wives the way Christ loved the church. And that is to the point of death. So, that's what men have to do. Now, there's a lot to say about marriage, and I know I'm never going to cover it in a small video, because that's just unrealistic. But, and I'm not trying to go after my favorite drummer of all time, and I'm not calling out his Christianity. There's just things that should be addressed for you. If you're not married, there's things that you need to know. And it's good to listen to all sides of a story. It's good to get, various perspectives. It is good. It is good. But remember that your perspective is very unique. You need to find the perspectives that are most similar to your perspective. That way you can make a better assessment. Because how can I relate to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? How can I relate to President Barack Obama if they were to tell me certain things about their lives? I just can't. I can't find. And maybe they might like to eat Chick-fil-A. That's great. That they like to eat Chick-fil-A. Problem is that from then on there's no correlation. So while people who are divorced like to share why they were divorced, and they like to share all of these things, the bad times and the hardships, and while they want to that's okay, it's all right, but your story is not my story, because I'm a virgin, I'm not married, I'm this, I'm that. So you see how everybody's take is not beneficial for you. If I could find a way to end this video, because you can probably wax eloquent on on the whole idea of marriage as an institution, marriage not dying. I will say this: really get to know the person. Really get to know the person. Spend as much time as you can with that person that you're dating. because there's just no other way for you to figure out certain things. You can ask what that person thinks on a certain issue, but at the end of the day, that what they say, what they think, can always change, because that's subjective. People change their votes in the ballot box all the time, and you'd be surprised who votes where. You see what I'm saying? In marriage, before you even say I do, you need to just start asking questions to that person, because you do love them. Okay, well, get to know them, because a very like dry question is gonna come up in your life. Do you love this person enough to sacrifice because you know that they do this, because you know that they like that? Are you willing to sacrifice these things? If you're not willing to make sacrifices in marriage, don't get married. Don't get married. Now, obviously, it's like you're not gonna get married to somebody and always sacrifice. That's just not right. It's just not fair. You're always the one who has to give. You're always giving. No, it doesn't work that way. But there's just so much more. So, Christians, let's let God perfect us before we get involved in marriage. Let's let God work in our lives, because unless He's working and you're making progress, you might fall into some bad habits that should have died a long time ago. And if you're not saved and you're watching this video, if you're not a Christian and you're watching this video, listen, marriage isn't a band-aid to hide the wound that you're harboring in your lives. And that other person isn't a doctor to fix you. You got to be at a certain point in your life where, at least if you're not so damaged, or at least you've tended to the wounds. All right, that's pretty much all I can. That's all I can actually give in regards to a video like this. But please, don't blame the institution because you're not learning. Pick up a book and read, and get good grades. That's the only way you're gonna learn, especially when it comes to marriage. So marriage is not dead. We're just killing it.